Okay, so I'm going to talk about the plugin sequencer. It works like a wave sequencer but for plugins. So I have two plugins here loaded, and I'm using the plugin sequencer to create a very short 4-step sequence just to give you an idea what I'm going to teach on this video. So let me play a short here. So this is just to give an idea what you can do. So I'm going to do a step-by-step on how to use it. But before I do that, I'm just going to give a quick overlook. So I have my two plugins here. I have the Wusik Station 9 with a Super Oscillator loaded, and I have the Pollyanna with the default preset, the synth brass. And I'm using the plugin sequencer on both plugins, and the great thing is that they share all the settings, so you just have to adjust the slot number for each one, and everything else is shared, so you can do on one screen. So here on Wusik Station 9 I have set to slot number 1, and on Pollyanna I have set to slot number 2. I have set four steps, 120 beats per minute. The speed is 4 by 1, so it's very slow, you can hear. If I do a 1 by 1, it's faster, and I can increase this. You can click with the middle mouse button to do a fine tuning, so that's 1 by 8. And the smooth is going to apply a very small filter to the volume and panning change, so it doesn't click if you're doing very different volume changes on each step. And overlap is going to overlap the notes if you're playing without using the fade option. So let me turn off the fade here. Then it's going to just work as a regular arpeggiator, but in a wave sequencer style. Make it slower. So if it's able overlap, it's going to cut the notes that are not playing. Can you hear that it's clicking? So I'm going to use the smooth option. So for each step, I can adjust the number step here, just so you know. I can up to 128 steps, but let's leave it 4. And for each step, you have the slot number for that step. So which plugin is going to play? So in this case, on step number 1, it's slot number 1, which is the Wusik Station version 9, and on step 2, slot number 2, which is the Pollyanna. So you can adjust the slot for each step. Then you have the time. The time is going to be a multiplication of the speed and multiplication. And then the tuning. You can adjust a positive tuning or a negative tuning. The tuning is relative to the note you are playing. Then the fade, if you want to enable or disable the fade of the step from the next step. The volume change and the panning. So it's very basic, but you can do some very nice sequencings with this. So okay, let's start a new project here. I'm going to insert Wusik Station version 9 here with the Super Oscillator. Just going to add a bit of chorus because it sounds a bit better. going to add another plugin. I'm going to add the MDA GX10. So let me move to the first one. Let me select something. Okay, that's good. So I control click to reset the volume. I'm going to set a third one, so I'm going to make 3 plugins on this example. Okay, let me lower the volume of those. I'm going to load something a bit more pad-like. Let's see, strings. Okay, that's good enough. So if I play a note here, it's going to play the 3. But now I want to add the MIDI processor, plugin sequencer, and I'm going to add on all the 3 ones. But I'm going to adjust the slot to a different one. So slot 2 for MDA X10. You can use the shift click to the fine tunings because this is going to change very fast if you just click. So just hold shift to fine tune. I'm going to add the plugin sequencer also on Polyana, and I'm going to select slot number 3. So okay, I have right now it's just playing slot number 1 on all steps, so I'm going to change that to slot 2 and then slot 3, and I'm going to adjust to 3 steps just to make it easier for this example. Okay, so I select overlap, so the notes overlap. If I want, let's say I'm going to add another step, so I'm going to make 4 steps, but I'm going to select this slot 3. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to set time to 2 for the first 2 steps, and then leave as 1 for the third one. So you can see that what the time is doing is setting 2 times the speed by multiplier, and it gets double the time. It's very simple, double the time. So I have slot 1, 2, 3, and 3 again, times 2, 2, 1, 1. And what I'm going to do here in step 4, I have set up tuning to 12, sorry. And I'm going to select fade for all the notes. One thing you have to understand on the fade, it works better when you have different slots between the steps. So in this case I have 2 slot 3 here, so I'm going to select slot 2 here, so I have a different slot because it's fading from one another in a monophonic way, so it doesn't work very well if you set the same slot to fade to itself. So if I play notes, you have to understand that the fade process is monophonic, so it works best when you play a chord and then you play another chord. You don't just play notes in different times. Let's see, slot 1, 2, 3, and then 2 again. It seems to be working very good. So I can also adjust the panning. So let's adjust the panning just a bit, just to make it a bit different. Okay, well, there's not much else to say here. You can do in very different ways, depending on what you are doing. You can just adjust the envelopes of each plugin. So let's adjust here let me see if I can adjust the envelope attack here. Okay, so in this example, I'm not using the fade. I'm setting the overlap to on, so the notes overlap each other. And I'm using the envelopes on each plugin itself to create a sort of moving pad sound. So it's very simple. The Polyana has a very long sustain. Let me change that. So this way it works in a polyphonic way, because the internal fade is monophonic. Okay, I think this explains a lot of the process of the plugin sequencer, and you can also add a lot of steps if you want. And well, I think that's it for this video. If you have any questions, please don't forget to ask me on our support system. This version I'm using here is the beta version number 8, so be sure that you are using that version, because the previous version had some problems with the plugin sequencer. So just upgrade to this one and it's going to work perfectly. And that's it for this video. Thanks for watching again.